Well, hello, everybody. It's
Hello,
us.
welcome to the final sharing session of Arts Explore.
Arts Explore. Thank you so much, people. Yay. I'm going to give you things that I love the most. Happiness. Woo-hoo-hoo. Can you all see? Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da.
So celebrative.
So celebrative, right?
Is
So
that a word?
festive.
Festive, yes.
Art Explore Festival next time we
Yes,
can have.
Art Explore
See
Festival.
the idea into NAC. Yep. Thank you so much, people. So before we go any further, let me do the introduction. I know everyone very, they've seen me before and all that, but
Yep.
we still have to do
Yep.
It's part of us.
Yes.
So everybody,
Every week we will.
every week we'll do it. I am Spang, and then next one. This is Lei.
Hello.
She's
this
very
is
much
Lei.
muted. And together we are tada, Spang
Spang
and
and
Lei.
Lei. Yes.
Okay, doing the Art Explore and okay, so do some like branding and all that and presentation. Woohoo! Thank you so
we
much.
have a little
We have a
channel.
later channel here, Art Explore TV.
Disoriented. I saw TV here. Yeah. Disoriented. Yes.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. This is a very awesome project. It was first, it first came to us with NEC NYC, and people just finding these people just finding ways to say, hey, let's help give them a platform. Them being people who want to impact and change communities through art, through the lens of art. And I think it's that's such a great idea. And then when we started to ask open call, and you guys came along, people who are on Zoom and all that, and we were saying hello to the people out there, YouTube,
Hello.
Facebook,
Hello,
live
people
stream.
on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. And when we're doing this, so we actually, I think it's like really great, really awesome, and we want to thank you, everybody who has made this possible. Most importantly, are the RPs and the participants themselves hanging in there. I know it's a long program. People are like, oh no, I want to show. And no worries about it. But this is it. This is the final showing already. Thank you for hanging in there, people. With all with love. So today we have the breakdown here. The final program lineup, and let's see. Do we have the program
Maybe you
lineup?
have this. Maybe go to the slides. Okay.
And let's see the program lineup.
Okay. So. Yep, we can do a PMP, and then this is the program lineup for today. So welcome everybody. So very shortly, we're going to start off with the first group, consisting of Samantha, Stephanie, Terrence, and Amiru, and they will be sharing with us their project.
Next, we have Loudness of Silence, and then next we have Too Much. We have a break. We have a short break. 10 minutes break. And then come back, people. Don't go anywhere. No Room Jiala, Stories We Tell, Memoirs, and Black Box Morning. And then, obviously we'll wrap up this beautiful session today. And thank you so much for coming. So what I would like to, before we start, I would like to share with you that this process has been a slightly long process. It's a good process. 3 months process for the participants and RPs. And they started out with just, an idea, a vague idea of why they want to be in Arts Explore. And then you will see their journey, their development. I've asked the participants to share with us their development. How they have started with an idea and how they are expected to collaborate with someone who is of a different skill set, is of a different, art discipline, design discipline, industry, but, might have a same passion for a common topic, be it mental wellness, be it,
climate
change, be it a lot of ways of dealing with maybe stress in Singapore, family relationships, things like that, themes that actually are very, very universal to us all. Just a little note for the people who are watching this live stream here. These are works in progress. This is although it's called final presentation and final sharing session mostly. It's a sharing session. So this is actually not the end of a journey,
No,
but the beginning of a next phase of
definitely.
journey.
Yep.
A lot of them have privately indicated to me that they hope to take these projects further. These are all works in progress.
Yep.
And that's great. Everything starts with a little seed and someone saying, hey, let's do it. And then the collaborative process, I know it's not easy, guys.
Yep.
You know, you have different people coming in, you know, you don't understand me, I don't understand this person, but most of you have actually gotten together, collaborated, and, you know, really brought out the whole fleshing out. And this ArtsXplore, I only have 2 more minutes. This ArtsXplore also was made possible because, you know, we wanted to share and doing it with others. I hope you all remember this DIWO playbook, DIWO, where we say the most important part of any project is actually learning how to collaborate with people, you know, doing it with others so that you can impact others.
Yep.
And I think most of you all and most of us have taken it to heart lah. That's really awesome.
Yeah. I think the part about not just collaborating with people from different disciplines, but also talking to the RPs, the resource panelists, who are themselves from very, very different industry. We have
personal hearts.
we have artists. We have people who are interested in climate change. People who work with communities, vulnerable communities. This is really great, you know, and they have been walking alongside our participants since day one throughout this process. And I want to thank them again.
Thank you. And okay, now it's actually,
I know we're a little bit early in terms of the timeline.
Yeah, but I think it's good. Let's start now.
Maybe
let's
we
start
can start the program.
Yeah, we can start just 1 minute early. So let's start the first program and all that. Thank you so much. First, we have Perpetua.
Okay.
Perpetua is managed by Rushdie, Stephanie Tan, Sam Chung, Terence Lim, and Miru. And this group is really different. It has all kinds of you know, they have all kinds of different people in there. You have a uni student, you have a journaling enthusiast, I would say.
She's very active
in the journaling community. You have a professional videographer, and then Terence who's interested in bikes. I love it. Okay, let's hand it over to Perpetua.
Over to you, Perpetua.
Screen share.
Okay, hi everybody. We are Team Perpetua. So my team consists of me, myself, which is Samantha, Amiru, Stephanie, and Terence, who cannot be with us today. So today we'll just be sharing about our work in progress and what we have been doing. So next slide. So what Perpetua is about is that it's an online platform consisting of different forms of media. So we have like journaling, we have video, we have music, and we hope that all these platforms can come together to help express mental wellness and self-expression through all these creative collaborations. Next slide. So this is like our logo. The one on the bottom left, the white one, is our final logo, and you can see our process of how we came to it. So we basically took different elements of the media aspect. So we have the pen, which represents like the journaling aspect, like a disc that represents like a music, that kind of thing, and we just combine it all together to form our whole logo that represents our entire like brand. So this will be our brief agenda for today and what we'll be talking about.
Hi, so this is our process when managing our project. We've been using Google Drive, Miro, and of course Office. We actually met up in person to discuss certain parts of the project as well. You can also see here on the top right, this is where we put all our assets, our audio visuals, and our slides as well. And we also did a mind map to see where our skills can actually be placed and be used for the project, how we can further develop it. So this is a zoom in of the mind map. So our creative collaboration, we have different places like skills like journaling, video, music, and as well as bicycle restoration. So we want to see how we can further expand and how we can actually contribute to the project overall. So some of the challenges that personally I faced during the project is to know where exactly can my skill fit in? And we've come to the conclusion that I'll actually be helping with the documentation of the whole process, as well as the marketing of the project itself. How about my teammates?
So I'll go next. My name is Stephanie. Thank you, Amiru. So my personal challenge was that actually I came into this project wanting to publish a book, but turns out right, we had a lot of discuss. We actually met up like 2 to 3 times in person just to discuss how we can really tap on all of our unique talents and skills to come up with this concept eventually. So I guess the bigger challenge that we face, what I feel is how do we leverage on all of our skills and talents to come up with something that is interesting for the public to be involved. Now I'll pass on to Sam to share with us a challenge.
Yeah, so for me, like I was initially actually from another team, and I had like another idea, but then my team member dropped out, so I ended up having to decide whether I wanted to join another team or continue by myself. So I decided to join this team. So when I joined, it was like already kind of like a halfway mark. They already kind of had like some sort of idea. So I think it was challenging to think about how my own idea can integrate with theirs. But I was quite thankful that like in some sense, even though the execution was different, but in some sense the beliefs of wanting to tell stories and stuff like that was similar, and I guess that helped to integrate all of it together, and we each found our own like unique way to contribute to the entire project.
So our inspiration for Perpetua is basically telling of stories. We got inspiration from like Humans of NY and Our Grandfather Stories Singapore, right? The reason because of this is because they tell real stories and they include real people and they're making real impact, right? So we want Perpetua to do something similar, and this is our user's journey. So basically there's 2 routes. There'll be the user, of course, which is route A, where they do their personalized journaling to express themselves. They will also create avatar to have some anonymity, because we understand that it is quite a sensitive matter to share certain things. But as they upload it and share on our Perpetua platform, they can also receive emotional support and of course building of a more supportive community, sharing and learning, which will be the route B, where if you're an audience, you are learning from all these stories how you can overcome certain challenges, and you'll end up also sharing and giving some emotional support and sharing it with other people who would probably find Perpetua a good place to use. Yeah. So this is the video process. We'll go through the processes of different skills and how we contributed to Perpetua in a whole. So I created a storyboard to tell the story of how the journaling process is going to be like and what Perpetua is going to be like in the end, as well as the video processes. I also did some tests for media assets by using certain templates. I created certain templates. This is the storyboarding that I've done. So it's basically telling the whole entire process of journaling and the user's journey for Perpetua. There's also certain media assets. I've been using Orfeo and Premiere Pro to create assets for Perpetua. This is an example of an asset. So interactive assets like this will be put up on our Instagram page to publicize it, to market it. So one of the funny story actually. So I was testing many different templates previously. So I submitted one of the templates. So yeah, one of the templates I made, we submitted it for like a Orfeo contest, which and it won like first place. So yeah, that was kind of clutch. Yeah. And one thing that we also learned about Orfeo, the interface for editing, is that it actually allows a lot of customization. So how, like the question that we probed ourselves was like, how do we integrate the whole customization aspect into like our website? So I'll pass it on to Steph.
Okay, so for myself, I have been a journal advocate and I've been teaching journaling for the past 4 years. So actually what I do is I teach skills like lettering and also like bullet journal, travel and sketch journaling. So after I've been doing this, I've been doing journaling myself since I was 7, and I've explored like different styles of journaling. So during the COVID-19 period, it was actually a pretty tough time for me. So I actually use journaling to kind of like get through that tough time. And from there, I actually got the idea to provide guided journaling to private students. So maybe Amri can show us the next slide. So over here are some actual photos taken of what my students have done. Of course, their face are blocked out due to privacy purpose. So there are I have regular students and also one-time students who are actually very keen to do guided journaling because they felt like it's very difficult to express themselves. So what guided journaling is about is where you use writing, lettering, doodling, and painting to express yourself in your journal. So this activity itself is adults and kids friendly. So how we'll be integrating this, right, is that as Amir was sharing earlier, we'll be taking videos of people actually doing the actual journals as they share their stories. We'll also be posting simple journaling prompts and layouts so that people can attempt to try to do it at home and then eventually upload it and share it with the rest of the community. So we understand that not everyone wants to really like show their faces and all that, which is why we are proposing this idea of avatar profiles so that their identities can be well covered. So I'll pass on to Sam to share with us more about the avatar profiles.
So this is like one example of the avatar profile. So we intend it to be very colorful, this very vibrant suiting of our theme of our entire brand. But also we hope that the avatar profiles, like the designs, will fit the personalities of the people that we're interviewing. So for example, for this one, this character, these are like fictional profiles that we made. For the time being, before we find real people. So this person, example, she's called Amanda Wong. She's an art student. She's quirky. She's fun. She's expressive. And so that's why the whole design is like very colorful. And for her story, she longs to start on this like journey towards mental wellness through learning more about journaling. Next slide. Yep. So for one example that we intend to do is that we intend to take out certain quotes that are very meaningful that we think will help the community, and we will spotlight it by like hand lettering out. So for this case, maybe one quote that Amanda says is journaling helps to clear my thoughts, and then we'll continue to elaborate on her story and just pick out things that are inspirational. Next slide. Yeah, so here are some examples of other future development because we understand that it's not just one age group but a variety of different people. So over here, like I tried a variation of different art styles as well, because eventually we hope that as this thing expands, we hope to also include and ask other artists to collaborate with us so that they can also illustrate or send in their illustrations and artwork so that we can all be part of one community. So for this example, example on the one on the most left is Uncle Vincent. So he's a retiree, so he's very old, versus the other one, which is like Jenny Kim. So she's like a more mysterious like icon. She's an ex-K-pop idol. So how would the design look like when we design for profiles that are maybe just more interesting? So these are some explorations of what we can do. Yeah, I'll pass the time now back to Steph.
Okay, so since there's four of us, Terence is not here. So another idea that we have was actually since our group is focusing on mental well-being, so Terence actually identified that during this COVID-19 period, there can be people who are trying to make a living, and he noticed that there were a lot of old bicycles lying around. So he actually came out with this idea on the next slide, please. Actually came out with this idea to retrieve old bicycles, replace old and worn-out parts, and to work with artists to give the bike a new look before passing this to someone in need. So over here is an example of an old bike, and next slide is a picture of a mock-up that we have done on a refurbished bike so that we can pass it to someone in need. So now I'll pass it back to Sam to explain, let us know more about the part journaling with music.
So another aspect that we want to incorporate is also using music as another form of journaling. So this can include like instrumental music or also like songwriting. So the idea is similar to the journaling aspect, but instead now after they share with us their story, the idea is to turn their stories into a piece of music so that they will be able to have the people sharing their story will be able to have their own voice and a connection to what they have gone through. Yeah, so this is one example of an audio design that I did. So for this one, it's more instrumental based. It's for the video trailer for Perpetua, but For this one, the process is done at home using like a MIDI keyboard on this music program called Logic Pro, and basically just layered different musical sounds together. Yeah, so you can listen to the demo. So for this piece, it is like a more gentle piece of music. It's more calming. It's the whole theme of letting people have a safe space to just explore and just bring their struggles to share. Yeah. So now I'll pass the time over to Amir, who will continue.
So how we plan to actually push this out is by using three different platforms. We have our Instagram, website, and our actual space. So this is our Instagram page. You can actually follow us at perpetua.sg. So we haven't posted anything yet, but this is a mock-up of what we want our Instagram page to look like. And we'll only start doing the overhaul once we have all our media assets ready. So this is our website. Terrence created and designed the website. So when users enter the website, this is what they'll be able to see. They can actually come into the website to actually submit their stories, view galleries of like different sharings, and as well as design their journals. They can also upload journals that they have already designed onto their website. Yeah.
Okay, so even though Perpetua is going to be an online platform, eventually we still hope to have a physical event. So this is the mock-up of the space. This space is going to consist of artist gallery. We are going to showcase work by the artists and also works of people who have submitted their journaling entries. We are also going to use that space to try to make it a meeting place for people who have acquainted over the platform, as well as a workshop space for us to conduct actual facilitated journaling. So hopefully through this event, we can reach out to more people. And now I'll pass it back to Amiru to close our presentation.
So the outcome of Perpetua is basically to have collaborative learning, and we also want to have a collection of human stories, and also to create a more conscious community here in Singapore. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Perpetua team.
Yeah, really awesome. And really want to say a really, just please, we're just so happy that you guys are, from nothing, there's no idea, and then coming out to like, it looks amazing. Avik says on the chat, it does. Before the RPs can chime in, or even anybody in this Zoom community here, this ArtsXplore community, please chime in by chat, by just anything. I just have a really good encouragement that how you all managed to marry the bicycles with the storytelling, because you keep saying oh yeah, it's an online platform. Yes, we understand it's an online platform, but if there is access to bicycles, the bicycle actually becomes this Perpetua icon. Imagine giving a bicycle that is personalized journaling, like with the icons, Sam can draw, I know it, and then Steph can do her typo and all that. And Amiru does the platforming and all that, with all the motion graphics and all the digital media assets. I think it actually serves as a reminder of how there's this, yes, it's an online platform, but actually there's this physical icon here, people cycling, and just getting through life.
I love the idea that it's a hybrid or like an amalgamation of both an online experience where different people can come together, and then there's some form of physical presence that actually sort of let the online space grow as well. There's this continuation of this growth and synergy between both the online and the physical space. Through the mobility of the
bicycle. Because people don't just have a bike and park it somewhere. It's not like a ad space or something, but people actually it's an artwork that moves lah.
So people saying we're a little bit soft.
We're a little bit soft. Okay. Some people say we're a little bit loud. We're a little bit soft. Okay. That's the audio levels for us.
Thank you. Thank you
for telling us.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if that's the case, right? Anybody else has has some words of encouragement for this group? Because I thought the idea is really, quite mature now.
It came a long way from the initial. Because initially, each of them had different ideas, and it was really interesting to see how they amalgamate all these different
collab process.
Ideas.
I wanted to go.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe anyone would like to chime in? Or
Chime in, anybody?
Some words of encouragement for the team.
Yeah, maybe just a little comment. Yeah, I really enjoyed the presentation actually, and really thought that it was quite thoughtful. In fact, it feels like something that can be manifested in reality, you know. So I'm actually quite looking forward to this sort of like pop-up spaces in different places. So I think that this presentation has shown how the group has really managed to integrate everybody's perspectives and skill sets. So I thought that was actually very rich. So I think you can tell there's quite good chemistry within the group. So congrats, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you,
That's
Alicia.
really sweet of you, really, to just chime in and, you know, thank you so much. Just so you know that they really started out with 4 different, you know, interests, ideas and interests also.
Very different.
You know, really just journaling, bicycles,
motion graphics.
Motion graphics with videography. He's a professional videographer, and
Samantha was interested in
games,
games,
gamification of careers, gamification of graduation, and all that. And now they just
we realized that Samantha composed music
and compose music.
This is something new.
This is great. This is fantastic. So thank you so much, people.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts? Thanks for your.
I just had a small comment.
Yes.
On the bed. So thanks for that, and it was quite enjoyable to hear. And I think from a mental health perspective, like journaling is, I think, a great tool to kind of explore.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of think, maybe ask the group to think about journaling if the platform is going to be online, and people are going to share quite vulnerable kind of feelings and thoughts in an online space, even though you have avatars and it's anonymous and all that. But you might want to think about how you're going to moderate, you know, commentary or responses to some of the journal. People are being vulnerable, they're putting themselves out there. And even though it's a like-minded community and we're all here to support each other, sometimes it's not intentional, but the conversation can go in a direction that is not helpful to the person. And even though they're hiding behind an avatar, it might be a bit... So just to think about, you know, will you have people kind of moderating discussions and responses, and particularly if it's online. So because it's kind of like free for all, and you know, and people might not be sensitive to how to respond to someone's kind of thought process. So just a thought about that. But I think the idea is so powerful, journaling in the mental health space. So definitely it's really exciting.
With bicycle.
Thank you, Shirab.
Yeah,
it's one of our RPs as well.
Yeah, he's an expert on mental well-being in community.
Yep.
So I think that's a good one. Steph, Amiru, and Sam, you know, if there is going to be some, because your idea is really starting to actually looks very, very feasible. Is it going to be think of the nuts and bolts, which is the moderation part?
Yep.
Because a lot of people actually, you know, tend to not be able to put it out there because they feel that the moderation part might be lacking. But maybe you should think about that. That's really good. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah,
it's a good reminder.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, the RPs, and thank you once again, Perpetual Group.
Thank you. Next up, we have. Whoa! Alicia's group. Lies.
We
have
Loudness of Silence.
From Wendy, Wei-Jin, Kai-Jun, Xingyue, Gyokcha, John Chung, and Cody Tan. Excellent.
I think John and Wei-Jin should switch picture. It's a different picture. Sorry about that. Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, and Cody. Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, can we have Loudness of Silence to share their screen, and then you can take presentation away. Yeah, we can see the screen share. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are Team Wings, and today we are going to be talking about our project, The Loudness of Silence. And so firstly, we introduce ourselves. Our group members are John, Wei-Jin, Kai-Jun, Xingyue, Cody, myself, Gyokcha, and Wendy. And first off, I'll be introducing a bit of our project. So firstly, we chose the topic mental health. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it affects how we think, feel, and act, and it also helps to determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, just like our physical health, from childhood and adolescence to adulthood. And some effects of neglected mental health are excessive paranoia, long-lasting sadness, extreme changes in mood, social withdrawal, dramatic changes in eating and sleeping pattern, and a lot more. And so the main message that we wanted to convey to our audiences, which are youths, we want to tell them that it is fine to voice their struggles to people who care about their well-being and that they are not alone in what they do. And next, I'll pass it on to Kai Jin to continue the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Kyok Jia. Why did we choose this topic? There are many new rising cases of suicide caused by delay of seeking mental health treatment. There is a stigma surrounding mental health. Hence, people don't talk about it. People who suffer from mental illnesses often get looked down if they confess or other people found out about it. When in reality, they are not only being judged, they are also suffering in silence. In several cases, it leads to suicidal thoughts and self-harm. Next slide. Ideation. Mood board. This is the art style we are going for, including what the character design and what the feels we are going for. All this is taken from Pinterest. Next slide. Okay, our physical prototype. For future development, we plan to create a video poster that will have short video animation and a QR code to access the story game. Next slide. Our concept. Our concept inspiration is based on role-playing between a student and a supporter. What does a peer supporter do? They offer a listening ears to students in need without giving an advice. There will be 3 roles in role-playing: an observer, the supporter, and the student. Now I'll be passing the time to Cody.
Thank you, Kai Jin. So now I'll be going through our initial ideas. So initially, it was a digital screen with a QR code. So John, our side character, represents the point of view of the audience as he follows Xiaojun along her mental health struggles and her road of recovery. The story will progress in an interactive game format where a mental health bar will be displayed on top of the character, showing how the character is faring with regards to her mental well-being. So giving you all a scenario, when Xiaojun faces family stress, it will cause distress to her, and then her mental health bar will be deducted 10 HP. Next slide. And as for our brainstorming, we used a mind mapping way. So we brainstormed our characters, scenarios, design themes, and conclusions. Next slide. And we also wrote it down as well for our storyline. Yeah. Next slide. Now along our characters, our main characters will be Xiaojun. So for the main problems she faces, getting bullied in school, verbal abuse from parents, and the grades not meet the expectations. For our notable side story cast, it will be John, her close friend, her mom, and her dad. Now I'll be passing the time over to Wei Chin.
Thank you, Cody. So I will be basically going through our storyline. So how our storyline progresses, it starts off at Act 1 in home, where Xiaojun was searching up on counseling services after feeling disheartened and stressed out by her GPA, and was reprimanded by her mom and eventually her parents during dinner. So next time on Act 2, which takes place in school, she heads to school but faces bullying because of a group project, which makes her feeling more cut up than the previous day. And on that same exact day, she had lunch with her good friend John, who noticed something isn't right based on her body language as she is showing signs of dismay. Next slide. We move on to Act 3, where she goes to a cafe to do the group project, but is further berated and bullied by her teammates, which causes her to break down. So coincidentally, she met John along the way, and he takes her to a cafe to console her and offered to be a supporting pillar to ease her pain. In Act 4, all the subsequent events lead up to it, where she couldn't take the pain any further. Then after getting constantly bullied and neglected by her parents, she attempted to take her own life and is later found unconscious by her mother. So that leads us to Act 5, where we go into her unconscious state, where there are a few mini games that the user can navigate through. After the user complete all the mini games, she will wake up and her parents will express their mistakes and will never take her feelings lightly again. So inside her consciousness, right, the first part will basically be about building courage, where the user will be shown a hut with various locks that they will have to unlock by fixing a puzzle. And after removing them, the user will move on to the maze. So at the maze part, right, which is part 2, the user will be shown a question and they will have to choose a direction to go towards. And different sides will show different flashbacks. And when the user reaches the end, they will finally see the light. So now I'll pass this on to Sinye.
Thank you, Eugene. So how did we arrive at our final idea? During the first sharing session, we shared our initial story ideas, and brought different perspectives from the resource panelists and participants. So after collecting the feedback, discussing and finalizing idea with Alicia and Shirab, we arrived at our finalized idea. Then for developments, about Xiaojun. Xiaojun is our main character, a 19 years old college student. Her personality is soft-spoken, introverted, and sensitive. So some possible factors that causes her stress are bullying, ostracized by her classmates, and family issues, living with verbally abusive parents with high expectations and treat her badly, but Xiaojun herself does not realize it. This is a part of our storyboard. This scene is about Xiaojun opening the class door, and she walks into the class, seeing all her classmates gossiping behind her, and her lecturer, Mr. Victor, come into the class and assign grouping for project. These are the story backgrounds drawn by John and colored by Kaijin. As you can see, there are many scenes such as kitchen, bedroom, hospital, classroom, canteen, inside the car, and outdoor scenes. Now passing the time to John.
Thank you, Singye. So now I'll be sharing the process and thoughts for the entire project. So overall, this project helped us to better understand mental health and the stigmas of mental health from a much wider perspective. Some of us learn new skills in this project that can be applied to our own future project as well. Next slide. We were also given a chance to talk and get feedback from industry experts, which overall also made this project as a whole much more valuable and interesting in terms of its learning experience.
That's really
Next
great.
slide. So for the group reflection, what was done well is that we all managed to finish the given task by the given deadline. And giving feedback to each other was also very simple because some of us also met in real life. And what could have been done better is the art style can be more coordinated because in the beginning we had quite a few problems with the art style. So we had to discuss for a week to get a general feel and confirm the art style. Time management was also a bit of an issue because not all of us are free for the whole week. So we always have to set a date and time to meet up, which also led to some communication issues. Next slide. So these are some pictures of our process. So like I said, some of us actually meet up at our own school to do the work. And so because of that, we can actually get feedback from each other much more easily. We also met with Alicia on Zoom to get some more feedback from her as well. Now onwards to the final product.
Moving on to the final product. This is our prototype of our app. The application we used were Adobe XD. And here are some versions of our game mockup. It will show the conversations, and the user can select the options at the bottom of the screen. And the chosen option they choose will determine the flow and direction of the story. Next, we would like to show you the game trailer to promote our game.
Wow.
Lastly, we would like to show you our game overview.
Wow. good.
Thank you.
Oh. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm going to give the clap, man. It's super awesome. Ta-da, sound effects. Whoa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Loudness of silence.
Loudness of Silence, consulting with, wow, with Alicia and Shirak.
Yeah.
Anybody want to, chime in and, give some encouragement to, yeah, it's quite I'm quite speechless because I didn't expect this level.
Maybe Alicia can share,
a little bit more
about the journey, and
Yeah.
then I believe they gone through quite a few Zoom sessions with you. Yeah.
I mean, I just really want to congratulate them because I feel like each time we've met, it's quite a big group. So I feel like it's quite a lot of coordination to go through. And I think just now Cody also mentioned, right, this sort of illustration style, I think was something that they tried to really navigate amongst them because each of them have quite a distinct design style. So I think they managed to really sort of integrate it well for today's like mock-up and sharing. Yeah. So even though it's actually just a sharing of an idea, I do feel that they've gone through quite a bit of work and effort to really sort of show an example of how they see the game. But what I also appreciated from the start till the end, right, was how the group was really trying to tackle a very simple but profound challenge, which is this stigma on mental health. So I think they've really sort of over time tried to focus the concept to deal with that. And I think maybe what is, because their project is actually quite complex, you can tell, right? There's a lot of different layers of the storytelling. So maybe one thing which I'm not sure if everyone sort of caught on, but I think what was important to the group was they wanted to also let the audience sort of participate in this game and the story in very different ways and in very different sort of outcomes as well. So they did put in quite a bit of thought to allowing the audience to make decisions, and also through the three sort of characters, right? The central character, the supporter, and also the observers, to sort of show the dilemmas and the maybe contradictory feelings that they go through. So I think that was quite a good attempt at thinking through these things. Yeah. And I also like that they had this idea to leave the ending quite ambivalent also. So there's sort of like space for the audience to imagine and also think about, how they might handle these challenging situations. So I think that was really great. And you saw, right, they had this little picture of that giant piece of paper that surprisingly survived this whole journey. Because they're so talented in digital things, but they're still quite old school, like they use pencil and paper. So that's quite charming, I thought. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was really super, and I think they would love to hear from you guys. If there's any comments and feedback, I think this is the time that will be great to let them know. Yeah, but congrats. Yeah.
Okay, before my comments, I'm going to have quick comments, but before my comments, anybody from the people can just chat in, and people are like, this project concept is cool, really, really, really cool. Okay, says Junisha, very supportive. And then Nikki, who is an illustrator, professional illustrator, she's like, awesome. And then Marian is like anime. Yeah, it feels like anime a little bit. I have a question though. Because the way that is laid out, because I'm not a interactive design expert, but the way it's laid out is actually, is it meant for gamification, like phone? Is it like
it's a mobile
is it a mobile phone thing that people download or what? Yes, I just asking only, like putting a question out there.
Yeah. Maybe any member of the team can
answer.
Anybody want answer?
It's a mobile experience?
Or is PT meant for PC? Meant for?
It's like a mobile app you can play on your phone. So like you use touchscreen. That's the like the handle.
Oh, then I have a question. This just between me, because people are asking about the illustration or that, right? Like so the question is that a very deliberate idea and attempt that you switch between the two illustration art styles? Like the first one is like more gentle, very anime, very also very very sweet looking and very pastel.
The one in the teaser, is it?
No, the one in the Xiao Jun's world.
Oh,
world.
Right.
And then suddenly when you go to the subconscious, right, it's like blocks, it's very Minecraft, and it's a good idea, but is there a deliberate attempt to separate these two worlds, or is just like someone do this, then someone do that? I just get only lah.
It's purposely because like we want to show it's like another dimension. So like so there's like a difference. To show like it's not in the real life.
Okay. Shira is like, well,
Shira, I know you're part of the journey
as well.
Together with Alicia,
if you want to
great.
chime in,
Maybe you want to chime in.
Yeah.
To share your thoughts on what this journey has been like for you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I actually the last time was just the last session we had. I provided some brief comments. Really, Alicia has been supporting them. But I really liked the idea and how it's come together since the last time the group presented, because there's so much more detail behind it. All I wanted to note was that I really appreciate, again, from a mental health perspective, the care that you have taken to address the nuances of the issue. So like just a few examples, in terms of the title you've chosen, also quite powerful, the loudness of silence.
Yeah.
And, it goes to so many things about, talking and the inability for some people to express themselves and what that means in mental health and all of that. Also the examples you used in terms of the issues that the character is facing. So, you think of abuse, generally people think of physical abuse. So, you go a bit, I think it sounds like it's a bit deliberate to go like, verbal abuse is also abuse, and so that level of nuance. I also like the fact that right at the end there's still an option to reject the apology. I wonder what happens if you click that.
After you go. So that was my next question. I was like, got so many options now. What if I'm like mean and nasty because my parents hurt me? Then I'll be like vindictive.
But you see, that's an actual thing, like reconciliation, not as simple as just apologizing, right? So what does that mean? So for me, it's also quite interesting to say, what if I go down that path? Do you have another storyline there? It'll be so interesting how you reconcile and the problems you face doing that. So, it's amazing, just the interactive nature of the idea that you had initially and how you've kind of, and then how you've executed it. And then we were talking about, gamification, reducing or trivializing mental health, but you've done it in such a again, nuanced manner that I'm really looking forward to you actually developing this and me actually using it.
Wow!
It's exciting. It's the best way to get the word out. It's such a difficult topic to talk about. So such a creative, innovative way to talk about the issue in a nuanced manner. So really well done.
Thank you, people. Thank you, Shirek.
Thank you, Shirek. Thank you, Alicia.
Yay! Excellent. Fantastic.
It's
a big team. And really good. Fantastic.
This together.
And any things you can add into the chat, people? Okay.
Any thoughts on anything?
Yeah, Nikki's being supportive as usual. Amazing project. My friends watching the live, super impressed. Really good job. Wow. Loudness of silence. Many good positive reviews. Hope that don't give up.
Don't give up.
Continue developing. I think it's the idea that's there, the gamification and the nuance, is what Shirek said. Not taking it lightly, but you're making it easy for people to access this part. The bar is not set so high and so serious. Gotcha says, thank you, everyone. Fantastic.
Okay.
To the live stream, to the world. Okay, hello world. Next one we have for you. out there. Thank you so much. The loudness of silence. Fantastic. Next slide we have, this one. Too much of Celeste, Ryan, Roshan. Fantastic. So this is guided by Lestrina. It's also a bit of a climate change. It has that the very hot topic.
Mental well-being to climate change, and which is one of the 4 main themes that we are exploring in ArtsXplore. This time round. Yep.
So we're not going to take up your time. Take it away, Celeste, Ryan, and Roshan. Go for it. Yay!
Hello.
Hello, people.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Ryan, and together with my friends Celeste and Rongsheng, we're here to share about our project, which is titled Too Much. Yeah. Okay. But before we show you our project, we'd like to tell you a bit about how we got there. So initially, we were very intrigued with the idea of convenience. We wanted to show people that our momentary decision to use single-use plastic products out of convenience is not worth the implications that it can have on our environment. Yeah, and initially we didn't really know what to expect, so we were dreaming it as big as possible. We're gonna do an exhibition with a storyline, and it'll look like a convenience store, and it'll show people a landfill and this kind of stuff. So we dreamed it out to be a whole audio visual experiential experience. Yeah. But then after along the way in the past 3 months, we had many discussions, and in each discussion we got things brought up to us maybe we should look more into packaging, or what about things like legislature. And we soon realized that the issue is really a lot bigger than what we thought it would be and what it seemed initially. And so in conclusion, we got tired, and it became so many things, and we got lost along the way, and so we started anew, kind of. So yeah.
Yeah, so we did start anew. So going to our finalized concept, we thought that, this is a lot more than we thought it was at first jumping into it. So we decided, we're not the only ones who feel that way from discussions with other people. So nobody is new to the news about climate change and environmental issues. And we think actually everybody kind of knows a bit about it. A lot of awareness was raised and everybody knows a bit. So with news about environmental issues popping up so often, what we thought was a problem was that it's really difficult retaining hope for the future. And this pertains very much to our target audience. So our target audience was youth and young adults who might be losing faith in the future because of how much of these climate change and this kind of plastic issues building up over such a long time. It's really difficult to keep having that faith, to keep fighting. So this is who we wanted to help. Next. Yep. So our objective for this whole thing, it was to show that we are in this together, that they are not alone in fighting it, and to give them a little spark of hope, and hope to catch a blaze, not in the literal sense, but Okay, so yes, our concept is to tell the story of a character who is inspired to do their best in doing the right thing and playing their part in reducing plastic, but eventually it gets really overwhelming and they get very worn out, so much they kind of empathizing with our target audience here. So we're going to the sketches and the making of everything. So these are our general sketches. So on the left, you see our protagonist, Dana. You see how she has progressed. And on the right, you see Earth Dude, which is a character that pops up in the game we were making. Going down, this is the digitalization. We went for a retro feel to play on that nostalgia, that time when you were a child and you were still hopeful about the world. So we wanted to bring that feeling back to people into their lives. And next is also more 8-bit, 16-bit art, the background of the places that you visit through your journey. And yeah, I'll pass it on to Rongsheng.
So thanks, Celeste. So we would like to invite Kaijin to play the game since she volunteered before this. We will post the link on the chat, to the website in the chat if anyone wants to play along also.
Is there like voice, like audio or anything?
Yeah. Please share your computer sound when you're sharing. Yeah, thank you. I'll just pop in with some commentary throughout while she plays the game.
I can play now. Okay.
Yeah. So our project was made with Construct Tool, which is a game editor aimed primarily at non-programmers, which we're not that great at programming, which was it was quite useful for us. So so when the game starts out, we have our main character Dana in her room being inspired by Greta Thunberg, which is like quite a well-known advocate. Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm going to pin her on this.
So in our game, we try to highlight a few places where people commonly go to and how people may not even be aware of the single-use plastics they may be using. So we try to make this part a little harder than the rest of the game to show how actively trying not to use single-use plastic while you're aware of it may get a little tiring. Yeah.
You're collecting all the plastic bags. It's great. Plastic bagification. That was Harry, yes.
So for this part, it's like another common a place where people commonly go to, the bubble tea shop. Yeah.
That's me.
And then you have to exit.
Oh, I exit now.
To the left, yeah. So in this part of the game, we wanted to show the guilt Dana feels after using single-use plastic, even though she wasn't just unknowingly buying bubble tea. So we're visualizing this part with the game showing her dreams. Yeah.
Click on all the single-use plastic.
Everything is single use.
Must I get?
Then many years.
If not this. It was 10. I just guess. Am I
Yeah, you can just guess.
Two centuries.
How often do you recycle your plastic bags? I never. I'm supposed to give the correct answer, okay?
No, you just choose your.
My own answer.
Choose whatever answer that pops out to you.
Oh, okay. New thing. No.
The game is really.
So after the nightmare, she wakes up. So for this part of the game, we wanted to show Dina being quite defeated and but we also wanted to show that she's not alone in feeling that way. Yeah. So we can see that other people are also feeling down.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we had an issue with the embedding of the game. So because we put on the website, this part of the game isn't working as intended. but if you just click on the notification for now, yeah, there's like an ending speech kind of with like audio. If you click on the screen. Yeah.
Don't forget, you're not in this alone.
There's more that if you
Together, all our efforts, as big or as small as they might seem, can add up to a huge difference. Keep on fighting the good fight. Thanks for playing.
Wow. Nice.
So actually, if you look at the top of the screen, right, there's a message board. After you click on the notification, it should open a tab to the message board at the top of the screen there. Next to home, the top right.
Where?
On the back bar.
On the back beside?
The navigation bar.
Yeah, the navigation bar. With home, message board, and credits. If you click on the message bar.
Magnifying.
The top right of the screen.
Top right of the screen. Okay.
Yeah, the message board. This.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is another part of our project. So for the message board, we wanted a space for people to come and encourage each other. So if anyone is feeling down or fatigued, they can come to this page and get some encouragement. So if it's possible, we would like everyone here to like go to the website and post something on the Padlet, on the message board right now. Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, Ross.
The link should still be in the chat if you guys want. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm gonna also play it later.
That's all for our presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks for your attention.
My goodness.
Thank you.
Applause.
Yes.
Thank you, Celeste, Ryan, and Rongshen. Wow,
Trumpets coming up.
8-bit retro really work. I love it. I love it as
retro now.
I love it as from a kind of like a tribute to childhood.
Yeah. I think a lot of thought went in because they even said going back to childhood nostalgia where it's a hopeful time, and bringing it to the future.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of heart went into it.
Also, you can see from the comments.
The comments are great,
Zoom chat.
It's like very reflective of the state of being green in society. Yes, I have my own comments, but anybody please
want to
chat,
chime in,
you
can unmute yourself and then just share.
Lastrina, please also.
Lastrina.
Wow. Lastrina, wow.
Lastrina walked this journey with them for the past 3 months. Maybe Lastrina, you would like to share.
Wow, Lastrina.
Congratulations. Wow.
Yeah. Hi everyone. And thank you to this team, Ryan, Celeste, Rongshen, for this development over the past 3 months. So maybe I can share with everyone. For me, being paired up with this group, and this was during the initial stage, right? So when they shared, they wanted to talk about the whole plastics issues, disposable issues, and then they wanted to create an immersive exhibition. In my mind, I was like, oh no, another one talking about these things, and oh no, it's the same approach, same style. And I think along the way, talking to the team, I think it was very it was very heartening for me to see them really take the time to read more about the issue, what's going on, and trying to understand what has been done. And in terms of transiting their idea from that exhibition idea, in-person exhibition idea, to an online game space, I thought it was really refreshing. It's a very creative approach to talk about climate issues. So I don't know if this is something that people caught just now, but I think for this group also, what I really like about it is that the challenge that they see is not so much about the environmental issue, the environmental challenge itself. I think for them, they picked on plastics to talk about, as something relatable. But, if you change this to some other environmental issues, the problems will always be there. So for this group, when they identified that the challenge now really is this idea of retaining hope for the future, regardless of what's happening now, regardless of the impending gloom that's coming. The challenge is how can we retain this hope and inspire people to continue having this encouraging mindset, to continue having this positive outlook, which I think manifested in a way by them developing this game, which to me is very quirky. So it's like retro feel. It resonates with that, there's the emotional anchor to it. And I think especially that part on the game show part with the music and everything going on, like yes, it feels fun and awkward and sarcastic, but also at the same time with the music coming in, it feels very pressurizing to realize that hey, in all this like humor that we're experiencing, there's this serious issue going on, and I really need to do something about it. And I thought the way they approach this approach to getting people to reflect on what we can do about plastics, what we can do or what we should do to avoid certain things that we can avoid was different. It's something that I really liked while working with this group. So yeah, I hope to see more coming up from them, maybe a mobile friendly version in the future. But yeah, for now, given the 3 months timeline, I think this was a really nice team and project to work with.
Oh, thank you, Rashina. Awesome, man.
Awesome.
There are a lot of positive. I mean, people are actually saying that the way this issue is being approached, climate change, because it's quite a contentious issue. People have made it quite painful and political. Quite talked about. But people. I mean, at least this community here, like the ArtsXplore community, actually, we really appreciate that. You can see in the comments that it's not guilt tripping us. Because actually the climate change, I've never really shared with yours that I'm a bit scared of the facts and figures and science, and so I tend not to touch that topic. But the way the game is, it doesn't guilt trip me at all, and make me feel like I'm so bad. Whereas I actually identify with the poor 8-bit character. She's like, oh no, I'm not doing enough. I didn't know like that. Then I think this is how I feel.
It puts the player being in the player position actually.
Hey, what do you all think, man?
Makes you be in a dilemma, which is something that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I don't know anyone else to chime in.
Chime in. Yeah. Please.
The daily dilemma is really when
what do you think,
in
people?
the gameplay.
Hey, I'm not too sure if this is relevant, but it's also a lot of like mega corporations contributing to, a lot of these climate issues. And a lot of times it's not just like individuals, but it's, society as a whole. So I think that the amount of burden put on individuals whenever this topic gets brought up, it can be very sensitive. So I like that y'all brought it in and addressed it
very gently, and not pushing it down my throat. I feel a bit safer,
and good mixture of facts and
true
myth and dilemma, and get a little bit of this sort of an insight into you learn something about
because I'm like
today.
Kai-Jin is definitely 10 years lah. Okay, the straw thing. 10 years. It's like the wrong answer. It's like fake news, that kind of thing. That's how it spreads.
Tarifa agrees
with Chloe. Really thank you so much for making this very nuanced game and making it that it's not off-putting. You force this subject on me, and actually now I actually care a little bit more about the subject than the people who force it down on me. I actually do want to make a slight conscious effort of not requesting so many straws.
It makes you a little bit more aware.
It makes me because
the takeaway is important.
I'm usually quite stubborn and I don't bother about the climate change so much. I mean I'm not afraid to share. I'm like, it doesn't bother me. I'm like, happy
but
here.
This
makes me aware. It does. It makes me aware.
With a little sprinkle of humor.
So thank you so much for your humor. It actually helps, and the sarcasm, and then the retro gaming style. It makes it less painful and more approachable for me. So thank you so much.
I just have a small comment. Actually, I don't have a very fully fleshed out idea to comment, but I was thinking it would be quite interesting if somehow the game, right? Because I enjoyed the one where it was quite frustrating, where the lady in the trolley is trying to catch these plastic bags, right? So I thought, if in the game there were different scenarios like that. It would be quite interesting if it actually had a real life impact, whether it actually, whether your failures or your successes as a gamer can actually contribute to something in real life.
Wow, idea.
Yeah, because there are some companies right now where in a way they are capitalizing on data, right? So I was wondering whether you could also in your game subvert that, and maybe it actually brings about some kind of real positive contribution, right? Even though most people think of games as really something that is very simple or not very effective. But I think, yeah, if there's some ways you can think a little bit deeper about that, it'd be really cool. Yeah, but otherwise, I think it was really fantastic. I really enjoyed the aesthetics of it. Yeah, so yeah, I hope you all continue with the idea.
Yeah, yeah, but the idea is I think Alicia, thank you for sharing, because I think it's already a level up idea. Like you're actually making it more global and saying that hey, this idea actually companies want to Tahira is giving a good one. Eco Asia, a search engine where every 5 to 10 searches plants a tree.
So does it mean that for every plastic bag the character catches or missed, and then something happens in the real world?
Yeah. Can get the big companies to do that. Okay, thank you so much. Whoa. Yes.
Eco Asia.
Yeah, fantastic. Maybe now the next one will be the too much game.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have come to the
so now we're having a little bit of a break. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We are still here.
We're gonna go for a little 10-minute break.
10-minute break.
10-minute break.
Sure, we are on time. We're just 4 minutes.
People on YouTube and Facebook,
do come back in 10 minutes. Don't leave us. You can see from the ideas is that people are actually contributing, and there's some change here. It's coming up. Even I think NYC and NAC can admit it. Yeah, there's some change coming up. Fantastic. So do tell us. Don't just leave us. I'll be here on the chat with you guys. Thank you so much. Okay. So see you all in 10 minutes. Thank you so much, people. Hello, people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us back here in ArtsXplore.
Thank you, people. Kamsahamnida. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
We had a little break.
We had a little break, a 10-minute break. Thanks, people for coming back. All these things it's so awesome.
People on YouTube and
people
Facebook.
on YouTube and Facebook. A big shout out to you guys for being here with us.
No trumpets.
Okay lah, trumpets lah. Easily done.
Done.
I'm gonna do the thing.
You gonna don't touch me. Okay. You have the trumpets.
Yeah, I have the trumpet. In case people do not know us, I would like to tell us
reintroduce
ourselves
if you just joined
again.
us.
Okay, don't worry. Let people know I'm Spang. Ni hao, everybody. And then that is.
Hi, I'm Lei.
Okay, very muted. And together, we are obviously
Spang and Lei.
And then very big shout out to our dear ArtsXplore.
Yes.
For making everything possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next group up, we had 3 groups presenting just now.
Yep.
Perpetua, the loudness of silence, and too much only once, not too much. But a bit of quick, just a 1-minute thing. A lot of the projects actually, it can be next stage already. Thanks to the RPs and all that, the guidance.
Yep.
And then for those of you guys who just joined us, welcome to the live stream.
Yep.
And the final sharing session. Don't say like so formal presentation session. It's works in progress, Everyone else gets a chance to impact their cause, their community.
Exactly.
Okay. So the next one we have for you is actually something that is very interesting. It's so far you have been seeing slides and everything, but this one is slightly different.
The experience is different.
Yep. It's actually a script supporting mental health, mental well-being, mental wellness in family situations, domestic situations. I'm very proud to announce, right back from our break, would be the No Room Jialat. Very local. No Room Jialat.
Guided by Grace Lee Koo.
Grace Lee Koo. Okay, we have Janisha, we have Nani, and then we have Ryan, Tarifa, and Tahira, and Chloe. Excellent. So this is actually a script read, and then No Room Jialat. Please take it away.
Our play, No Room Jialat, was conceived with the aim of addressing one of Singapore's most pertinent and yet silenced issues: the education system. Our protagonist is a boy who has just received his O-level results and is contemplating on choosing to continue his studies in a local polytechnic. However, his parents prefer the junior college path, which is the usual conventional one here in Singapore. The more definitive and solid route to clinch a place in a local university. Or so they thought. Here, we choose to represent different angles to this conflict. First, it is the protagonist Nick and his desire to choose his own path. Then, there are his parents and their legitimate concerns for his future career, but unintentionally imposing pressure on him and establishing a severing of Nick's perception of his parents, especially that of his mother, who is the one who expresses her worries about him the most. Despite her intentions being for the betterment of her son, the execution of it is what is lacking and detrimental. Later on, there is his sister, who has her own vision to share. But her individualistic mindset, encouraged to stand for what she believes in, are massively clouded and antagonized due to her tempestuous tendencies and short temper. In all, this first scene seeks to establish all these interfamilial conflicts and place them on the front line.
3, 2, 1.
Do you know what most hotels do with their linens when they get stained? They throw it away. It's a completely usable linen, but because of professional standards, vanity, and fussy hotel guests, they have to throw it away. And where does it end up? In Singapore's only landfill. In fact, a huge percentage of Singapore's landfill is those hotel linens. And our only landfill is going to be filled up by 2035. If we can find a way to just reuse those linens, give it to the needy, and make money out of it would be killing 4 birds with 1 stone. 1, wasted linens. 2, our lack of garbage space. 3, the needy. And 4, I'm broke. I just don't know how to make a damn business model out of this. Where can I find help?
Your results, we can forget about the top schools now. You're going to have to work extra hard to get into a good uni. And I'm going to take you out of your band.
But what about a gig this year? This is our chance to get recognized.
I don't care. Your studies are more important.
I could just focus on my studies afterwards.
You keep telling me they can't even focus. How can I trust you?
Then what difference will it make if I have my gig or not?
Your music is a distraction. If I don't remove it, you'll screw up your life.
Then what the hell am I going to tell Mark? You're producing an album, Mom. We've been working on this for so long.
Just tell him you have family commitments, and that's why you have to stop.
He's going to ask further.
It's none of his business. Tell him that and he won't ask anymore. I'm not going to let anyone know that you have to cancel your band just because of your lousy grades. What are your friends and family members going to think? I'm very worried for you. I told you that this was the 1 year that you can't afford to do badly. And since you can't seem to focus on your studies, I'm going to have to remove all your distractions. There's no more room for you to screw up anymore.
Mom can be a real bitch sometimes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Look, do you want to know why I went to poly?
How the hell should I know?
It's because I know JC's damn stressful, and it wasn't going to help me in the direction I wanted to go in life. I know you put in a lot of effort in your studies, but some people just aren't academically inclined.
Says the person who got 2 for O levels, CCA awards.
God, not this again. Nick, I'm trying to give you honest advice.
Do you think I'm too dumb to go through JC?
Duh, you should sit there all day in front of the textbook with your mouth hanging open, and you're miserable going to school.
You think you're so smart. Just because you got good grades, you can give me unsolicited life advice. Go to hell!
You know what? You can fail and rot in shit for all I care. Fuck you.
Jade, why do you always need to swear?
Dad, don't shout at me. I'm trying to help Nick, and he keeps acting
Don't
like...
talk to me in that tone. You have no respect for your own father.
Can you listen for once?
If you show no respect for your own father, I don't know how you will be able to gain any respect from anyone else. You always feel the need to talk back.
I don't need another lecture.
Your hot temper will get you nowhere in life. No one will want to start a business with you, and you can say goodbye to all your grand business ideas and your social enterprise.
The final scene of the play happens at a juncture when tensions have been remaining high for a while. Conflicts have already been fleshed out, and emotions are flaring. The key problem is brought to light: miscommunication. In this closing scene of the play, the risen tensions are slowly simmering as the characters realize and understand each other's concerns and decide to talk things out. Eventually, the family comes together to decide in favor of Nick's choice, and things settle down.
Our initial plan was to show our first scene and final scene of the project. The first scene will showcase the conflicts that the family members have with each other due to clashing personalities. The final scene would show Nick having a breakdown and having supported by his family, who had learned to understand each other and overcome miscommunication in the previous scenes. We want it to be a happy ending, with Lauren allowing Nick to drop out of JC and go to poly, as Jade has done so. However, Lauren disapproves of the poly path because she believes that it would lead to less success than a JC uni path, and Jade hasn't proved her wrong yet. Jade can start up her social enterprise because she doesn't have a direction, and although her businessman father, Chae-young, would be a good source of advice, they will never talk because every time Chae-young opens his mouth, it is to lecture Jade on her flaws, which would cause Jade to retaliate. Although Nick wants to drop out of JC, as he knows he can manage it, he doesn't want to take advice from Jade because he is jealous of her.
So in other words, the family has a lot of conflict to overcome before the climax where Lauren decides to let Nick drop out of JC. So first we need to decide on Nick's aspiration and what he would want to achieve in poly, because Lauren is the kind of person who wants a child to have a solid plan for their life before she gives them independence. So Nick at the moment is shown to be passionate about music, but he doesn't have a plan for himself.
The other thing is that Lauren has an obsession with how others perceive her family and their success. This is one of the things that caused her to fight so strongly for Nick to stay in JC. She thinks that his dropping out would be an embarrassment to the family, especially since Jade keeps going on and on about her passion in opening up business, even though she hasn't shown any results yet right at this moment. As well as Jade being the rebellious type, this makes Lauren feel like she can only depend on Nick to follow her ideals. However, this is a selfish motivation, and we need to find a way to invalidate these perceptions, yet not make Lauren the villain of the story. At heart, Lauren is a person who truly cares about the future of her children, and that's what we also want to show above everything else.
So basically, what we have so far is Nick and his friend Mark are in a band. They're working on releasing an album and performing at a festival to get the attention of big shots, so that they could get a head start in the music. So the festival takes place right after his mid-year exams, and he's been practicing really hard. But because Lauren believes that Nick is distracted by his passion for music, she feels the need to pull him out of the band. The problem is Nick legitimately has focus issues, not just because he's passionate about his music. So Nick, when he's staring at his worksheets all day, he's not doing anything. He's very unproductive. He feels that he could spend his time better, so he would go write songs and mix audio tracks. But when Lauren finds out that he hasn't been doing his work, she tries to completely destroy his passion for music. Believe it's his distraction from his studies. So this would cause him to have a breakdown. So while this is going on and the family is trying to repair the conflicts with each other, Nick would have to overcome his jealousy for Jade. Jade would have to learn how to control a temper, and she needs to find a source for help for his social enterprise. And Jae-young would need to learn that lecturing his kids and expecting them to follow him without question is unreasonable.
Okay. Hey. Thanks for the presentation of the can we spotlight ourselves? Thank you, people. Thank you.
No room jalat.
No room jalat. Thank you.
It's a very intense wait, what do you call it? A script read?
Yeah. It was quite an intense script read.
Yeah.
But I quite like the idea that of all the slides and all the games, there's this like really like curveball, like we're gonna give you a script read. Like, oh, okay.
Like
and then the radio play. Like a bit of an old school radio play. I think it shows a lot of what do you call it, like tension between the family members that actually all of us experience. A lot of universal themes right here, be it JC versus Poly. I mean, we all went through that. We all went through that. Parents who are not so understanding, who can be more understanding. Ourselves who are very stubborn, when we are younger, insisting that our choices are mostly right.
I think these are real
concerns.
Real scenarios.
Yeah.
That it's quite universal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to Grace for really helping shape this thing together and putting it into a good script lah. I mean, it's obviously something that can be worked on and worked for. And then I really appreciate everyone actually taking the time to come up with a script and read the script and all that and go for rehearsals.
Yeah.
Celeste was saying that
tensions
hit so close to home.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite true.
It resonates with
a lot of us,
especially in Singapore.
Yes, where we feel that as youths we often do not have a choice, and even when we are older, thinking that we have a choice, we sometimes feel that we still don't have a choice. So glad is relatable, says the group. Excellent, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe anybody,
Grace, would you like to chime in on the 3 month kind of journey?
The 3 month journey for this script development.
Even adults. Yeah. Maria was saying even
adults. That the tension is very heartfelt, hard. Yeah, give your heart.
Hello.
Hello.
Grace.
Grace. Let's
Hi. Actually, I honestly didn't have to do much with this group. They're very, very independent. And the script, I would confess, honestly, I had nothing to do with that because it really is a space for them to experiment. And this is a really interesting group because they're like, basically they're like, we don't need you. no, it's more of they all came to the table with a lot of different ideas.
Yes.
So actually the conversations that I did have with Chloe mostly was about team dynamics, was about when there's a situation where people come in with all their talents, they come in with all their different voices and narratives that they want to express and focus on. How do we use all the resources that are being pulled together, but not end up in a too many cooks spoil the broth kind of situation, which actually all of us will find ourselves in that situation professionally and all the time, right? Too many ideas going on. How do you kill your darlings?
Yes.
So I thought that they really came together and try to make it work, which is why when we have feedback's so important when you create a piece of art and then you offer it out. There's a good job, guys. And you have feedback like, the tensions really hit close to home. It means that whatever this group was trying to express, it came from a real place and it was put in there.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think a very important thing that I just want to add on is when you create a piece of work of drama, what is the second life? What is the afterlife of the piece of work? So I think it was great that Ryan was and Junie was explaining, unpacking those characters for us.
Yeah.
Yes, which I feel that, if it could be a round of facilitation. So, you do the read, you do the radio play, you offer it. So art becomes a springboard for real conversations to take place. And I think Ryan, Junie, you guys would make fantastic facilitators. So instead of telling us, right, like, oh, these are the dad's motivations, Lawrence, what's holding her back, blah, blah, blah. How can we prod our audience? And what if it's an audience of JC Poly students or secondary school students making at those crossroads? What if it's an audience of parents and students?
Wow.
What kind of conversations are going to happen because your art has opened up, that Pandora's box? And so I think there's definitely a lot of potential in this work that came out of all of them coming together, trying to work in a very lateral way. It's non-hierarchical, trying to complement each other rather than it remain like becoming conflicting. Yeah, so I think it's a great start and it can continue to grow. And think about the afterlife of the work. Always think about that.
Yep. I totally agree with Grace over here. I think the audience and how they partake in this whole process of not just being a listener in this story, but also partake in the conversation, like this afterlife that we are talking about. How are we going to bring it into the same space at that point in time and have that conversation? So that bringing the community closer to that conversation is quite important, and which is what they have explored, the possibility of that in this situation.
How about anyone want to say something from the group? I know you all shared a little bit, but how about you guys sharing, like the process, I know it's difficult, it's up and down, you come in as a big group, you have to deal with all as what Grace says, the dynamics of the group, and collaboration is not easy. Anybody like, Ryan or Junisha or Chloe or want to share, want to acknowledge that as well. Anybody want to share from the group? Anything? Okay. Leave the art out there. Rongshan is like amazing. And then you have people saying something that's earlier going about saying that emotions can be felt through the audio. Very well done. Emotions can be felt through the audio. Might not be professional actors, but certainly emotions are universal. Yes, Ryan, anything to share? Come on, dude. Or Chloe or anybody. Okay. Nothing to share at the moment. Okay.
Okay. So
thank you so much.
Thank you for
the script read. It's a good springboard onto something
I think
else.
what I thought was interesting is because you actually don't need a lot to say something. You know, you don't need a lot of media, assets, video. Sometimes something as it seems simplistic. Like it's just reading something.
Yeah.
But voices, human voices actually resonates in us very deeply.
Yeah. So
because
think
it's as if you're listening to the real scenario a lot of
I
times.
think sometimes it's nice that
Yeah.
even if I don't have the set, I don't even have the costume. It's just, it's just a bunch of people reading over, the Zoom and all that. And yet, because precisely we don't have the costumes and the set and the props and all that, I listen to what you're trying to tell me. So I think that in and of itself is quite powerful, the voice.
The attentive audience.
Yeah,
at
the
that point in
attentive
time.
audience at this point in time. Thank you so much, people.
Thank you for the experience.
Thank you for the experience, the radio script read.
Okay.
Wow. So after the radio script read, the next project that we have to go to is kind of different. It's kind of different. We've seen, many different spectrums. Okay. The next one that we have for us is by Nikita. Nikita is an illustrator, and she's having ideas about how illustration can help bring about a positive attitude and outlook towards mental well-being, towards mental issue, and how she as an illustrator, her work can impact and intervene in some form of negativity, but yet spin it to be a positive
and you
part.
see a different way of intervention and
Yeah.
different way of having a
People
conversation.
intervene differently, and she does it through her art.
Earlier
Yeah.
we had audio, and now
we have a
more visual experience.
Okay, take it away,
Nikita.
Nikita.
Thank you. Okay, hold on. Okay.
All right, that's great.
Go for it, Nikita.
Can everyone see it? Okay.
Yep, you can see.
Hi. So my proposal is called The Stories We Tell. So it's let me see. Okay, wait, before I go into that, first of all, hello.
Hello.
My name is Vicky. I'm a watercolor and ink artist, and occasionally I teach in an art studio. So I teach children, and yeah, so that will come into play later. And I also can play 1.5 songs on the ukulele. Fun fact. Terrible. Okay, so before I start talking about my actual proposal, I want to share like a previous mental health project that I did. So this is like a previous one. It's called this one was called If I Leave You. So this was a year-long project from 2019 to 2020, where I created it was a mental health fundraising project. And I raised $500 for Shanyo Counseling Center. So what I did was I created 6 different designs to turn into coasters. So these are the designs. First Christmas, Long Drive, The Last Song, Catching Stars, Up with the Bees, and Friends of the Moon. So they all have different stories behind them, so but very, very long stories. So they're all about like themes of mental health, illness, and suicide. So yeah, this was a very long project, and I'm glad I did it. So moving on to my proposal. Okay, so about the stories we tell. Okay, so my proposal is actually a community art mural, but ideally 2 community art murals. Yeah, my idea is to start difficult conversations about mental health. So I want to get Singaporeans talking about mental health by like creating and displaying this community art mural. Yeah. So I dream of an idyllic Singapore where people are kinder, more empathetic, and more welcoming. Because we have to be more mindful of the fact that every stranger has a story, and sometimes it's something they don't want to talk about. So I want to foster a more empathetic community and destigmatize mental illness. So about the murals, materials, people, and budget. Okay, so this was something I did for another workshop 2 years ago with Superhero Me. So this was a children's workshop that we did, where we did watercolor shapes, and then they added their own details in like ink and marker and everything. So I did a spin on this for this project, where I decided that maybe we can like draw our monsters instead. Our monsters being like our mental struggles and mental illness. So the materials we'll need watercolor canvas, either paper or separate canvases, watercolor paint, color pencils, paint markers, and hardboard. So hardboards, I only need it if we go ahead with using paper, which yeah, and of course we need people. And yeah, I think you all have noticed I'm the only one who's on my own. So I'm glad that I have the support of my friends and people who do want to support me if I do go through with this project. So for the budget, so I had a very nice long trip to Art Friend, and the canvas and paper, the pricing will be about $17 to $45, depending on whether I go for, which one I want to go for. Then watercolor paint and pencils free. You're welcome. I have many palettes. Okay, and then paint markers. People will be the power of friendship. So I have a few friends. I think a few friends watching in now. So hello to all of you.
Yay, friends! Hello to you.
Additionally,
hello, shout out.
Hardboards will be $12.60 if I go for paper. Okay, this is all the boring admin stuff first. Okay, so for the mural itself, the first step I will do is meet my participants, either separately or as a group. So for now, I've only managed to find like 2 people who might be interested in doing this. And yeah, I had to also take into account like whether they will be interested or like okay with doing it alone or like in a big group. So now with safe distancing, we can only do like a group of 8.
Yeah.
But for my mural, because each canvas is only about 12 by 12 inches, and put together, I was hoping for like a huge square canvas. So it will be like a 24 by 24 canvas.
Yep.
Later, I'll show you all a demo after I can leave my slides. So for the first step, we're going to meet the participants, either separately or as a group, and like it's like a picnic in a park kind of set. Yeah, so I want them to be close to nature. And, like, yeah, I think when it comes to like art therapy, they always ask you to go out and like stare at a tree or something. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And then after we all like settle down, we're gonna have a sharing session. So it's more like a storytelling thing also.
Yep.
This is more of an intimate, personal kind of project. So we're gonna have like for the first one, I'll do a group of 4. So 4 people. And then plus me 5. So we're going to talk about our personal experiences, and then ideally we will all have like mental health issues, and then we will they have to like describe to me like what they look like and what they feel like. And yeah, I have to remind them that this is a safe space, and we're gonna this is a mental health art project, so we have to talk about it and like really go into it and like confront all these like monsters. And then the watercolor part. So everyone will get a canvas, and then they will paint out the figures or shapes that they see or feel. And yeah. So I will do a watercolor demo first. So the art teacher thing will come into play here. And then I'll explain like key techniques and explore blending, control of the brush, etc. And then I'll just explain everything before we start. And then they will paint all their shapes and what they see or feel in their mind. Like if your mental illness had a face, what would it look like? So yeah, so this will be might be a bit difficult. That's why I also have to see how comfortable my participants are.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah. So number 4 will be I will be the one adding details in ink and marker and whatever, paint markers. So yeah, so for this reason, like the sharing session is really vital because I need to know exactly what your monsters look like. And if you're not comfortable, if you don't think they have a face also, I will come up with something. And yeah, participants are also welcome to do their own details. So the final mural will be it will be put up. Okay, so I have 2 ways this can go. It's either going to be displayed somewhere, debatable somewhere, along with write-ups. So after I talk to all these people, I also want to do like write-ups on them. So if we get a place to display the murals, I will put up like write-ups of each of their experiences, or the whole process is filmed and shared online. And then the last one will be like a public involvement. So if it is displayed in a physical space, I will have like a QR code. So if you walk past and you see like, oh, this is interesting, I want to be part of it if it happens again. So they can join. So it will be something like an anonymous. You can either choose to be anonymous if you want to, or if you really do want to be part of it, like do the next mural, then you can tell me your name and everything. Yeah. So or if it's an online one, it will be send us stories via a link in the post on Facebook or something. So who are the people involved? First mural will be friends and acquaintances, and the third one will be general public. So how are they involved? Sorry, there's so many words. Okay. Friends, the friends and acquaintances, they will both be doing either the first or second mural. So for acquaintances, I'm thinking they might hear they might hear about it from my friends, so they also might want to do the second mural. And then yeah, friends and both, they were all basically the same thing, sharing session and write up. For general public, same thing. They will do the second mural and then they will send in a write up or link in bio. And okay, so this is basically what it looks like. Everyone will get a piece of a plain canvas. Then they will add their shapes. This is just a digital version. They will add their shapes, and I will add the details. And they also have the option to write out, you know, like if they want to explain what the monsters are. So like, for example, this is something I just thought of, like when it comes to depression. And like, there are so many symptoms of depression, and they're all somehow interconnected. Depression and anxiety are always like somehow related. So you can see that like the middle monster is I become so angry. You know, sometimes I think with depression also it gets a bit uncontrollable sometimes. So like these are like the different monsters you have to put up with when you're struggling. Yeah. Okay, now I will stop talking and you can see this process video that I did. Let me see if it works. Okay. Oops. How do I stop it? Okay. Yeah, so this was the final product, and later when I stop sharing screen, I can show you the actual one. So this is the canvas. So I did try it on both paper and canvas, and I believe like for first timers, I would say paper would be better, but if you're really gonna do a mural, obviously the canvas will be like more aesthetically pleasing and nicer to work with lah. And yeah, so as you can see, some are like monsters, some are like very questionable things, but yeah, so it also doesn't always have to be monsters, you know. So like you can see there's a bear and a dog.
Yeah.
So I really didn't plan what the shapes would be like, which is what I really want the project to be like. So I just for the animals, I also made them like symbols of hope, because when it comes to mental illness and like struggles, we always have a little bit of hope left. And yeah, when it comes to all these illnesses, we have all these monsters, but there's also a little bit of good. And yeah, so it's also okay to include it in the mural.
Excellent.
Okay. So so the final product, after everyone is like has put it together and side by side, then you'll be something like this. This is like a visualizer for you. So only the orangey, the top left one has words, but the rest also can if they want to explain more. If not, you can just leave it up to interpretation, or it will be in like the write-up.
Oh.
Yes. Oh yeah, pandemic contingency plan. So I had to think about this also, because at first I wanted to do like a big party kind in the park kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is honestly still doable now that the guidelines have like eased out a bit. But yeah, so still either I meet them separately or in groups of less than 8, which is fine because there's only going to be 4 people for the first one. And when I meet them separately, I will bring the materials to them. And ideally also we will use a venue that's good for everyone. So if they want to meet me in a park alone on a very nice picnic date, that's fine. So alone. And then I will do a write-up and maybe interview them if they're comfortable. And if we're doing a video, I'll do a voiceover also for them. So recording their process, and then during that video, maybe they can like explain a bit about their painting. Yeah, and then I'll film the process and share it online. And then I'll encourage the public to respond online as well. Yeah. So we will, don't worry if we do end up doing this, and if I do get like budgeting and everything right, it will all be socially distanced. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Nikita.
Very sweet of you. I'm
Yes.
going to give like, little applause here. And then thank you so much.
Oh.
Ta-da,
I don't know if
ta-da.
I don't know how to show you my
You can bring it to the camera.
Yeah.
You want to bring it to the webcam?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you can.
Excellent.
This is the actual product.
Nice.
So canvas. So side by side it will be 24 by 24. If we 4 exactly. So yeah, so for this one also, like some explanation will be sometimes you feel like on top of the world. There's like this euphoria when it comes with mental.
Yep.
Sometimes there's euphoria and sometimes you just feel like the ugliest person on earth. That kind of. So I also tried it on paper, but the other paper is slightly bigger. Paper is like 13 by 13 inches. So yeah, it doesn't. If we do it with paper, it will have to be on hardboard if you wanna like hang it up. So I think canvas is the go-to. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Rongshan is like, whoa. Thank you, people. Thank you. It's awesome. Thank you. Please give Nikita really a thumbs up, or really like she's by herself doing this
little trumpet.
Yeah, with the whole, we have little trumpets for you.
Yeah.
I really must say that it's really awesome. I want to say thank you so much, because I think the issue now is you have a good creative process. How do you then put the creative process into the hands of other people?
Yeah.
Right? Because not everyone is in your mind. I can see that, people like Avik is literally like, can we literally buy this?
One.
Yeah, purchase one.
Avik would like to purchase one.
Can we buy this? You never know.
Illustration, why not?
But the thing is that how then do you, because you're doing it with the community, how then do you help these people who are, it's almost like your drawing is almost like another layer, but the most important layer is that through illustration and teaching and imparting and sharing about this creative process, which you are supposed to do in this community art mural, right? That time, how then do you help support one another? I think that is so beautiful by having a presence. Because remember, Nikita, we did talk about it. We say, are you still going to insist to, try to meet people? And you said the presence is important.
Yeah.
And I'm very touched by that when you say things like, even amidst this tough time, presence is important. So Avik says, can we purchase this? So Nikita, you want to answer
to
that part?
The mental, I guess, yes, sure.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Can go on the ArtsXplore website, right? So having a little bit of feedback would be, even please chime in. Please, this is a really the idea that these blobs of colors. Then you open up the fact that they can be monsters. I mean, not everyone illustrates as nice as you lah, Nikita, but the fact that that process can be taught, I think it's awesome.
That's why for this project I was thinking, what is the best easiest way especially for if I'm working with like complete beginners. Like, for the splotches also, I really didn't think I think someone asked
Tahira was asking.
Yeah, the hero is asking.
Really randomized. I just wanted to play the colors. So I will teach them also, like, maybe if you all want to use warm colors only or cool colors only. So my art teacher voice. So we will just do like very random shapes, but also if you have an idea in your mind, try to put it down.
I think a good pairing for you, Nikita, would be, sorry to interrupt, but would be Shirek, because he is quite the mental issue like specialist here, working with the community, and how if Shirek, just chime in, Shirek, please, don't feel like you're not the RP, you cannot comment. A lot of posts and all that, and then they actually ask
questions
are coming up.
The
how
process.
do you do the color splotches with a plan, or are they totally randomized? Like this splotch.
Is it?
I think, can you all see? Yeah, it's completely random. For this one, I just really wanted to try and put myself in the shoes of someone who's really joining for the first time. And
Yes.
has never touched a paintbrush before, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I just went all in, and I just used any color, but I kept it to like warm or cool. So like this is warm. Yeah.
Okay.
It was really random, so I just had to take some time to like look at it and see if I can see any like pattern.
Yeah.
Doing the inking, and that was it. So that process video is actually 1.5 hours condensed into 1 minute. Yeah.
What would be your kind of like I wouldn't say process for a beginner if they were to join the workshop? Maybe you can just briefly describe what the experience would be like if I were to partake in your workshop. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I didn't explain properly that part. So the meetup, right?
Yeah.
So I still do want to do like a meetup in a park, which is I know people are doing picnics all the time. So it will actually start with like a demo, and I will like let everyone try out. They also have their own small pieces like rough paper to test out and everything.
Yeah.
So I will really like walk through it with them and teach them all the like color blending techniques and like like wet on wet, dry on wet kind of wet on dry kind of techniques and everything, so they can kind of experiment, and like it's basically like a watercolor class.
Right. So it will be taught lah.
Yeah.
The technique will be taught to them lah. Oh, okay. Okay, NYC technique will be taught to them.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering.
I love the idea that it starts out as something very organic and very sort of free form, and there's no kind of like you have to imagine what this looks like kind of approach. And then from there it's very fluidly, then you transform it, you add things, you add it on. I like this additive kind of process to it, and they can slowly build on and can pace themselves along the way, and it's really great for beginners to come in and not be pressured.
Reminds me of the journaling process that Stephanie was saying in between. It's like quite therapeutic, and then you get into this state of consciousness, which is mindfulness, and then you just draw out your monster. Lastrina says, this is Lastrina saying that clear product that can be self-sustaining, and she really hopes to see this implemented and
thank you so much.
Extended.
So
says Lastrina.
Nikki, don't stop here.
Yeah, don't stop here.
There's
fantastic.
Last week we talked about the other grant from NYC.
Yeah, maybe you can try to apply for that lah. A lot of grants available. Yeah. So excellent, people. Moving along for all the feedback, people. Actually, let's the next one up would be a really interesting. Thank you, Nikki, also for sharing and all that. Good process. The next one up. Memoirs of a Forest. Very good. The team is guided by Lastrina again.
Yep.
And we have Marianne and Avik. Avik is a sound designer. He's a producer, sound producer. And Marianne is an artist
extensively with
tea bags.
Organic material.
Yes. And now she's a tea bag enthusiast, which is awesome.
It's a very interesting pair.
Yeah.
They're very different right from the beginning.
And they are the issue that they are interested in is actually climate change. And that's why it's Memoirs of a Forest. So we're not going to say too much because there's some surprises at the end, but please do take it away. Memoirs of a Forest.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, all the presentations up to now, they've been amazing. So thanks for organizing this Bang and Lay. And thanks for helping us out, Lastrina, with our project. So I'm going to quickly share my screen and have a little presentation. And then after that, I'll show you what we've created. If you can see my screen.
Yes.
Our project is called Memoirs of a Forest, but our team is called The Last Tea Bender, and it's kind of like a pun created by Marian. And we'll talk more about our title and all of that in a second. First, maybe we'll just explain about ourselves. So Marian, maybe if you want to introduce yourself.
So hi everyone, I'm Marian. So I'm a mixed media artist, and while I handle my works intuitively. So recently, I'm currently working on tea bags by using the components of a tea bag object itself, whereby I use loose tea leaves and the liquid, which is the drink itself, to form an artwork. So the interesting thing about my practice is that this started way before in my days in LaSalle, my final project. I decided to do something different, and I was inspired by a tea bag artworks I saw on social media, and I noticed that no one has done it before in Singapore specifically. So I thought I could use this chance and put my skills to good use. And along the way, while it becomes reflection of my artistic journey, I hope that I could share this this skill, right, with others, that drinking tea can be more than just the tea bag itself can be more than just drinking tea.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and so I'm a composer and sound designer, and we kind of had very different ideas, but I think there were some similarities. My idea was to kind of use cans, waste material objects, and kind of connect wires to them so that you could make them musical objects. So the whole idea is like, yeah, we can use these materials that are essentially waste to create some kind of art. It's tough to figure out how could we actually work together, because Marian's idea would focus more on print, whereas mine would be focused on a timed installation. So we thought of creating an interactive video where there's a book in the video, so you can bring the print to the time installation. So the last tea bender is basically that we use single-use waste such as tea bags and other recyclable materials to highlight certain local issues. And the issue that we decided to talk about in this particular video is Dover Forest. So essentially, in the end, we kind of created this sort of interactive video. At the moment, it's still in kind of like the middle phase, so the interactivity is not fully there, but we have a video. One main issue that I guess we felt was that when people talk about environment, there's always this kind of like gloom about like, the world is going to end and that kind of stuff. And we wanted to stay away from that kind of way of speaking and just kind of highlight the positive ideas about forests or other environmental issues. And we still talk about Dover Forest and we still highlight what's happening there, but the focus is more on appreciating nature. So how did we get to this idea? So this is Marian's designs for her book. And Marian, if you want, you can talk a little bit about your how you created the artworks that we used for this.
Thank you, Avik. So as I stated, that my final year was focusing on tea bags. So this is one of my artworks. So it is it's a accordion book which reflects my artistic journey so at first it's a recordings of how people perceive tea. So on one side it's illustrations which consists of circles. I think it reflects the person's zone when consuming tea, like and the next is it talks about that people see tea is like a form of social gathering, as well as like also talks about solitude at the same time. Because as I was working on it, I'm trying to connect tea and solitude together. And I also have the thing for solitude. But then I later found out that that tea is also a connotation for a social interaction. So this is just one part of it.
And these are some sketches that Marian did. This is a little bit of our process and how we worked on it. We created a little storyboard. Marian created some basic sketches that were then later implemented into the video. And here you can see the drawing. So yeah, Marian, you can go ahead and explain.
So for these illustrations, I used the tea stains as a paint, and I create them into illustrations words, which you will see it in later. So while they are created as a cover, and I also decided to work on an animated clip as well. So we decided to compile it into a video art, and I promise you that for this piece, it's not a live action film.
That's a pun on Avatar, if you didn't get it.
Yes, I got it.
So yeah, Marian created these amazing animations using like stop motion techniques to get these cool videos. The interesting thing was when I tried implementing these videos into Unity, which is the game engine we used to create this, it didn't work out the way that we wanted. So we ended up actually splitting the video back into its original frames and inputting them directly into Unity. And I'll show that in a second. So this is one example of video. I'm showing this one because I didn't get time to implement this one.
Yeah.
So you can have a look at it. So it's...
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah. So I'm trying to pause it. Okay. So recreating these in Unity, we had to actually divide it into individual frames. And you can see this is our animation controller.
Wow.
And it like literally put every single frame into the video. I kind of faked it a little bit and, you know, skipped a few frames here and there where I felt it was okay. I could probably use every single frame. Now a little bit going to the programming. I'm not going to really go into this. I just thought I was quite happy with this, but we created like one single like management like piece of code to like manage all the audio and animations that are happening. In hindsight, that seems to actually make the program go a little bit slower. So the thing that we're going to work on next is like how to make it a little bit more seamless and move quicker. I'm going to quickly show you a mock-up that we made, and this is something we presented earlier in the program.
Yeah.
Just to show you and compare with what we have now. So this is just using some stock artwork.
Yep.
You kind of like turn the book, press buttons and things like that. So that's what we had at the beginning. Now I'll quickly go into the audio process. So all the music and sounds are created in Logic, which is a digital audio workstation. And kind of I went for like a more ambient sound to give that, you know, like meditative feeling, this, you know, beautiful landscape. And you'll see a little bit about that. We also recorded narration to accompany the book. And Marian wrote a little script that was kind of almost like poetic. So we kind of approached the video in that way. Here's a picture of Marian recording it.
In your studio.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to quickly, let's see. Oh yeah, I want to quickly talk about a couple other things. So the end result, like what do we want to do with this video, essentially is to crowdsource stories and images. So stories about Dover Forest, images of Dover Forest, but it can also be just images of forests and stories about your own personal experience with forests in Singapore. And the end result would be like at the end of the video, you'd be able to click onto a link and upload these videos, these pictures and stories, and you can share those. Right now, what we're working on is we also think that the video could potentially be used by organizations that are trying to present about the environment and conserving the environment. And we're going to actually work with someone on using this as kind of like a little piece of content that can help immerse our audience into this topic.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So now I'm going to quickly share this video. Hopefully, the only thing I'm worried about is it might be a little glitchy because my internet's not that great. So hope it's good.
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Woo. Woohoo.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I like how trees grow tall and strong, and yet there's a certain softness when it sways gently in the wind. The more I look at the trees, the more I know about them each day. Local forests are a daily wonder that links all beings together. Whether you're a human or an insect, we are all part of nature's web. When the forest falls, the leaves mourn. Let's talk about Dover Forest. Dover Forest is a 33-hectare plot slated to be redeveloped for housing in the coming years. It was part of a rubber plantation back in the 1920s and has been a key part of the landscape of the surrounding neighborhoods ever since. But why should we care about it? Well, firstly, it's home to amazing flora and fauna, 120 species of plants and 158 species of birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish, even snails, including several endangered species. Continuing to have green spaces is also essential to Singapore's landscape. If we were to build in this area, it would be important to design structures that bring the forest in, as opposed to taking its place. Then the forest doesn't die. Instead, a new forest is born. One by one, the trees will grow. And thus, the circle of life will get to continue. What are your favorite moments in or around Dover Forest? Share your memories with us.
Yeah, so that's the video. One quick thing we wanted to talk about, we mentioned like the structures and stuff that could be built, and the reason for that is the person we're going to end up working with wants to kind of crowdsource ideas for environments and buildings we could potentially create, because they might have to build on Dover Forest. We might have to do it because of population growth, but maybe you can do it in a good way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the thing.
Whoa!
Wow!
Thank you for your. Have you finished your presentation, people?
Yeah. Hopefully the video was not too glitchy.
No,
it's fine.
It was fine for on our side at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa! Thank you so much for the Memoirs of a Forest. It's like starting to really. I like the music. People were saying that it's like the music is great, and then the starry sky and all that. I didn't know that there are endangered species in Dover Forest.
There was
new info. I'm just really interested. Thanks, Lastrina. Please do come in, Lastrina.
And thank you,
And thank you, Marianne, and thank you, Evik, for sharing with us. I mean, this group is like very different as what Evik is saying. One is a tea bag artist, enthusiast and all that, and then mixed media artist, and the other one is a sound engineer. And together they came up with did some coding, and they came together with a unity scene.
But what I thought was interesting is that Marianne's choice of material, which is tea stain, right? And that became the primary
leaves, with the
I love how it links back to the topic and the theme as well, and the choice of material is so succinctly condensing that direction they want to move forward with.
Thank you so much.
Maybe
Any
Lustrina, are you there or are you here with us?
I'm here.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
thank
want
you
to
so
talk
much.
about your journey with Marian and Avik, and then talking about the.
What do you think,
forest.
Lustrina? You're the one that's guiding them.
Maybe before I go into my comments, a very quick thank you to NAC, NYC, Speng and Lei for putting together this program.
Thank you.
I think for me, really, this was a very unexpected pairing and something that I wouldn't have considered working with. So yeah, for me, Avik and Marian, really thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Like your sound designer, tea bag art. So I think for me at the start, just exploring their work and listening to the music and checking out Marian's website. I to be honest, I didn't know where this would go. And so over the course of 3 months, it was very okay, I wouldn't call it life-changing. That would be a bit too strong. But it was definitely life-changing in a way to realize how certain topics can be explored. And so to me, like putting together both of them and having this very like immersive experience, very aesthetics, like the sound and the visuals that you see, and like seeing Avik put so much work into all those inserts, and Marian maybe sometimes can be a bit shy, right? But then she actually stepped up and narrated the whole thing.
Yep.
So to me, it was a lot of growth in terms of the project and also in terms of perhaps personal growth as well that I saw happening, and I really appreciated. In terms of the topic itself, Dover Forest and like forest in general, I really appreciated how they chose to identify a current topic that is being talked about, and perhaps this could add different layers of discussions for the community to consider. And I think for this project also, like both of them had to think about, like, this is not just going to be like art for show, right? Like who is going to like watch this, who's going to benefit from this. So I think for them to really consider all the users and where they can add value, I think shows how much thought they put into the whole project. So just wanted to commend this team.
Thank you so much.
you,
Yay, we give you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Applause.
Thank you. I mean, some of the comments we can read some of the comments in the chat over here.
Fantastic.
One beautiful
a lot
music.
of I think quite inspiring in a sense that it starts out with somebody that you're not into programming, but yet you put your toes into Unity and all that and create this a scene lah.
But what I love about it is it's actually the choice of material and the use of sound.
And the fact that there is a very practical, as Lustrina says, there's a very practical one focus now, which is the Dover Forest. And it really resonates now to other people. Some of you all might not even hear of Dover Forest. It's near the place where I stay. Not near where Lei is, but it's near my home. And it's been slowly decimated lah because of population and the fact that more HDB flats need to be built. But let's see how we can do it in a very positive and impactful way that benefits the community and not like upsets traumatizes the community. I think that's very important what you are saying. Thank you so much even for that.
I just wanted to add on. Now that I've seen the final product, I think because like during our meetings I saw like different components. It reminds me of a Story of Forest, which is the exhibition at Glass Rotunda at National Museum, right?
Yes.
And I mean, for that itself, it was done up by a Japanese digital art collective. And I was thinking, I don't know, we have such talents over here, and I think it would be nice to see like them developing their project for National Museum, for example, right? Or maybe NAC can consider giving them spaces for them to exhibit their project.
That's
okay.
Something that
Thank
can
you,
definitely
Lustrina, for the suggestion,
for the shout out as well.
Shout out.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Avik, and thank you, Marian.
Well, thank you really for this one. This is very gentle and very sweet. The next group that we have is the last group.
Yes,
last but not least,
final team that's going to share with us.
But let me introduce the next group. Okay. Wait. Sorry, a little glitch there. Black Box Morning, guided by Alicia Neo. And then we have Valerie and Nadia. Thanks for coming today. Actually, they were both working, but yet they rush back and actually participated in this final presentation.
Yes.
Hello.
So
Hello.
Nadia and Valerie, take it away.
Yeah, take it away. We can't say too much about it. It's we leave it for you to say, and then we'll leave our comments later. Thank you, people.
Hi, so I'm Nadia. Is Valerie here? Yeah. So I'm Nadia and Valerie as well. And Valerie is a movement artist and a contemporary dancer, and I'm a writer. And this project is basically motivated by our personal loss. And so initially, what we wanted to do was sort of like an immersive theater experience. And also like maybe, and then it evolved into sort of like a art installation. And I think like basically like we wanted the idea to like build the community. And so we discussed like, oh, maybe we should do like a app, or maybe we should do like a website. And then we finally decided to do a Instagram page because like, it's readily available and a lot of people use it. And so, yeah. And Valerie, do you have anything to add?
No, just to jump in is I think the idea of community building was important for us. Like whether is it to like bring other grievers together and to express it through art, and that's why I think we chose like the medium of an Instagram page. Yeah, maybe we can show them like some of the posts there.
Yeah, so this is our first post that we want to welcome like anyone who's on Instagram or even like anywhere to like DM us and like give us their artwork. And it's like it's gonna be like very minimally curated. We do not want to really edit anything unless necessary. So like everything here is just like what people give it to us. And yeah, so like these are some of the works. And we have a video here that Valerie did. Can you hear the video?
Yes, we can hear the video.
Yes.
With blades of grass, beneath which you lie, and I can only place this flower 6 feet above, where my lips may meet its petals. How my body yearns to meet your body, my heaving body, feeling your shadow kiss my shadow, and I know how. And I know now it will be difficult to do good deeds when your daily life is not managed, after I have entered another realm. But how? How do we find the strength to do these good deeds in between this creaky house of a body, lurching side to side, my body used, your grab hold in the night, now your presence, a breeze whispering, a crease unfurling from my fist. Mattress cover remains empty. To break the bones of the dead was the same as breaking the bones of the living, and now I feel the house of my bones seeping, aimless violence in the same way a housefly throws its body against a flickering bulb. What warmth is there to speak of from an empty
So
bed?
that's like one part of the video, and then we also have a post from like Empowered Through Grief, which she thought was really like which really like summarized like what we want to do. And then the last one we have is a post from like one of Valerie's friends who decided to share like about this quote. And then we also like did a video to to show what we've done. And the music is by Avik and the video is by Valerie and the words are from me.
Nadia might need to reshare your screen so that, because right now we are seeing the Instagram page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. No worries.
Thank you.
Thank
Share
you.
the screen.
Yeah.
With audio.
With audio.
Yeah. So this is a video that we've done, and that we will post onto our Instagram page as well. So yeah, that's basically our video.
Yeah, and maybe just to add, I think what we wanted to do was to have like different types of art forms.
Yeah.
So whether is it like word or movement or music. Yeah.
Yeah, so like through this page, we hope to like normalize grief and also like to open up conversations about that and make it less of like a taboo topic. Yeah, because we feel like a lot of times like when we're grieving, we feel like we're isolated. So like, you know, through like this page, we hope that people know that they're not alone in it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Thank you for your really sincere contribution. I think in fact this is one of the projects that, you know, at first, so for the rest of the live stream, like people who are on the live stream and YouTube community who didn't know before, so they are interested in one of the topics is mental wellness, and one of the specific topics that they are addressing is actually through grieving, like the process of grieving. And you know, at first in one of the meetups, everyone was like, wow, it's very intense, you know, we don't know how to deal with this kind of, you know, intense topic. But yet now their whole product, their work in process, their art intervention, I would call it. It's very, very gentle,
very
democratized. It's free for all. It's a safe space to come and do a piece of creative work in like tribute to grieving, or you know, maybe you don't need to lose someone to know what is grief like, basically, I feel. And then just through loss and helping people,
like Marianne was mentioning over here, it's
poetic.
Very poetic.
Yeah, it's very poetic.
I think it sort of go into a quieter zone for individual reflection, or individual way of grieving. And then I thought that quietness actually helps a lot in terms of addressing the issue. Maybe Alicia would like to share about your journey with them for the past couple of months, and then how it has been.
Yeah, maybe I just share a little bit, because I think both Nadia and Valerie have been working pretty independently also. So we just had a chat at the early start of the project. But I thought that this pairing that came about through this program was also a really sweet one, because I think Nadia's sort of skills as a writer and Valerie as an artist and you know, movement-based artist.
Yeah, she's
really powerful pairing when you're talking about the topic of grief. So I think it's nice today to also see the development, because I think really at the beginning, like they've shared, right, it was really intended to be an immersive black box experience. But now I actually like the direction that it's going, and I think, you know, it really opens up the possibilities of, you know, having a lot of micro projects, you know, sort of develop over time, and also it's really not an easy topic to address in a short space. So I do think they need time to cook it and develop it further. And I really like the direction, and I'm hoping that, you know, this collaboration will continue over time. Yeah.
I think as performers, maybe like, you know, a shout out to Val, is that you know, as performers, we always want to perform in a space, where there's audience. But I think now, as you know, platforms are, the really big tech platforms are coming up, the reach is actually bigger. And as a movement person, movement-based artist, you know, like improv and all that, and how do you use your body to actually intervene something that is so precious on digital platform, which is grief. And when a person is live, there's movement. They always say, right, movement is life. But yet there's this person, there's this artist, movement artist who is alive, trying to, say something about something that doesn't move, someone that doesn't move anymore. So Avik, is like, I love how the words and movement are connected with each other, and how you actually open a space where people can insert their little creative works, creative thoughts to this process. And I think it's a good start. I think one of the ways to go about it is actually to make little, I mean, this is just me, little videos on movement and words and pairings and all that, and to just, propagate, aggregate this part of the Black Box Morning Insta page. I think it can be bigger than what you all think it is now. Yeah, I mean, obviously it has to be seeded and loved with loving care. Yeah, it's a deep topic, but I thought that the Insta page itself is a very good thing. Good direction.
And I thought the way the poetry and even Nadia's writing, it's sort of brought to life with movement and watching a body and space in a public sphere about something that is very intimate and very private.
Yeah.
But now it becomes this experience that we can share online.
But as everyone talks about, usually it's like, the moderation, how safe is the safe space and all that. And then I think it's up to the creators, which is two of you, to tell us how it's going to be, it's going to be safe for everyone. That is a good one. Thank you so much.
I also thought that Grace's earlier comment for her group, right, about how the art practice becomes like a platform for conversations and like you guys debating, right? I think a project like that would really be very helpful for maybe even support groups who are currently also maybe dealing with quite difficult grieving processes. This actually offered them, I guess, a platform to share. So, that kind of invitation, maybe beyond artists and practitioners, could be quite useful as well. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Awesome suggestion.
Thank you.
And Valerie.
That's a great one. It's thank you for sharing, everybody. And anything from Nadia and Valerie, just to add on to your little, it's a very gentle project that I think has a flutterings of a butterfly that can soar soon, slowly bit by bit.
So like I think because like we wanted to do like immersive theater, like I mentioned, and then we've realized with like the whole COVID restrictions, like you cannot, like one of our rooms is supposed to be like a rage room where you can just like throw stuff or like scream into the void, that sort of thing. But then like with the whole like COVID restrictions, you can't shout, you had to wear a mask, and like only 8 people. So like we wanted to figure out a way to work around it. And like one of the things that we thought was like, we should go digital, which is why we also like thought like, maybe we should do like a website to have like an online like wall or like online rooms so they can like write stuff and that kind of sort of thing. But then like we are not very tech savvy in the sense that we cannot really like build a website or that sort of thing. So like we figured like the next best thing would be an Instagram page, because that's like a platform that everyone uses. So so we wanted like the whole interactivity and also like the whole connection with other people. So like the best digital platform we thought was like Instagram. So
Peace out. That's a good one.
And I think in response to the support group idea, I think it's actually inspired by the support group ideas. So like we do join certain support groups and like certain Insta pages with this kind of support. And I think we are kind of like doing that, but in a more like focus on like artistic work.
In a more creative way.
Thanks for the shout out, Alicia talking about the support group and all that. I think that is and how it's inspired by one of the support groups. I think there is a gap, now that I see it, I guess there is a gap, helping people through grief. Sometimes in an Asian context, we are not, I mean, this is just being a bit presumptuous, but in an Asian context, I think it's difficult to tell people of your loss. And I think that this space perhaps, can help people Asian youths, in Singapore, deal a little bit more about the expressive part about, there's a community to support through, these parts of loss.
And many a times we may not have just one way of expressing
Yeah.
the grief. And then I thought what your project brought about is like you can express it in your own ways, be it through poetry, movement,
So even if it's like example, I ask you all, so even if I just type in like a phrase, like, like I feel the grief is too much to bear sometimes, example, or just a phrase of poetry. Will you accept things like that, or what is the bar to entry?
Yeah, we do not really want to like curate a lot. So like whatever you feel like is the way you express your grief, we would accept it and we will post it on our page. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, we end with a very, I don't know,
gentle and nuanced, thinking that it's a small thing, but it's actually going to be a big thing.
It's
I think it's
a
growing.
very gentle ripple.
Yeah.
And it's rippling. Someone was mentioning about ripples earlier
And then
in the presentation.
Yes.
But rippling into the community and rippling into the support group that Alicia mentioned.
It's the mental
Valerie
wellness
was
group, the
mentioning
game.
about that, getting your inspiration from.
Yes, and I think that it concludes the end of our. Wow, we have a lot of presentations. Thank you, everybody.
Once again. Thank you all the participants, and
I give your hearts, many hearts. Give your hearts all over.
Thank you to
spreading all my love
the
for you
audience on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for joining us for the past almost 3 hours and be here with us for this session, this final sharing session. As Spang was mentioning earlier, this is not the end of ArtsXplore, but this is actually the beginning of their collaboration and their journey in terms of impacting the community or the groups that they want to reach out to, or even the subject matter. Yes, but thank you so much for being here with us for the past 3 months. Those of you who have followed us for the past guest speaker session, thank you. And then thank you, big thank you to our resource panelists. Alicia, Grace, Lastrina, Cindy, Shira, Rushdi.
Yes.
I hope some of you are here, but despite the fact, really thank you for joining us throughout this whole journey. If we would not have done this without you, the participants, without the RP support, it takes really the whole ArtsXplore community to make this happen. And I
think the energy is good. Thank you so much for hanging in there, guys. And most importantly, we would like to say, well, we're ending on time, which is good. First time ever. Usually overruns, right, by 5 minutes. But now we're thinking, ending on time this time. We like to also shout out to NAC NYC for National Arts Council and the National Youth Council for really bringing these projects together. And then with their fundings and their little like seed token, honorarium and all that, thank you to encouragement and all that kind of thing. So anybody would like to say something, just to end and close the loop and close the circle. Remember, guys, it's not the end, it's the beginning of the next phase. So when I say next phase, I know NYC wants me, the National Youth Council wants me to say, we have grants available. Do show us your slides and apply for the grants. They were here last week, and I'm going to do a shout out also for their grants, right? Please do apply. They are waiting for your ideas. Yep. Anybody? Thank you. Wei Jin saying, thanks, y'all. Was a worthwhile experience.
Are you sure Wei Jin speaks like that?
I'm assuming Wei Jin speaks like that. Thanks, y'all.
Okay. Cody was mentioning.
Cody was right.
Do an impersonation.
I don't know. I never said thanks for the opportunity.
Hello. Sorry, MC
Hello.
here.
Yes, Ainsley.
Hi.
Thank you.
Quietly listening here.
Yes, people are all here. Thank you. As a NAC representative, they haven't
National
really
Council.
Oh my God, don't spotlight me.
Oh, you have a lot of
spotlight.
Yes, art materials behind you.
Yes,
wow,
thank
cool.
you.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to thank everyone for being a part of the first season of ArtsXplore. So the reason why NYC and ourselves at NAC started this platform is to allow young art enthusiasts to explore social issues through art. So thank you again, Spang and Lei, for being such amazing producers.
Thank you.
Also to the resource panelists for your time and guidance to the participants. And of course, thank you participants for being so passionate and having such impactful ideas. We definitely look forward to seeing them develop further. So if anyone has any feedback regarding the program, please feel free to reach out to any of us.
Yes.
And because we want to continue to shape future seasons better. So thank you and have a great Saturday ahead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy.
Do a Chloe impersonation. Come. How would Chloe sound like?
Good job, everyone.
Do a Wendy.
Wendy says thank you.
Wendy doesn't sound like
I don't know how to say thank you, Wendy.
Okay, but thank you everyone. Rongshen, thank you. Okay.
Oh, a little shout out, people on the live stream also.
Yes.
We need to say thank you guys for coming in and joining us, and all that kind of thing. You all have been helping us and, being together with us. Chloe says accurate. Yeah, see, I knew it.
John says, John
is like,
John.
Thank you. So I'm just really do a little bit of last minute like closing the loop thing. Yes. Thank you so much once again. And for those who need to send me their forms, please send me their forms.
We are still missing some forms. I know we are streaming this live, even though this is more housekeeping
but
matters.
It's okay, don't worry. This is what it is. Yeah, thank you so much. We hope that there will be more opportunities to impact our communities. Thank you for this participation, and thank you for this gathering. Something precious is being started here. We hope that we can support one another. Still, you all have our reference and contact numbers. You all can just reach out to us, and even someone like Avik is like, hey, guys, I'm a sound designer, and whatever, just shout out. And thank you so much. And once again, thank you for being here with us. And thank you, ArtsXplore.